And first pitch, we are underway. We were concerned about the weather and the...
Well, that's definitely, I mean, something to be proud of, especially when you're going up against an SEC school.
And a punch out to start things off. Sophia Voiles. And there's one away as Goodnight heads back to the dugout. Most improved player, which speaks a lot to what was happening under the surface.
Well, that, and then you look at even her sophomore year, still didn't play a ton, did have just over 20 starts. But then this year, an everyday starter for the Georgia Bulldogs, and go ahead and make that trip with you, and it just allows the environment to be that much more competitive.
Seventh pitch of the AB, and deep in the hole, Simon makes the play for Tech. And
Yellow Jackets there at shortstop.
Right back to the circle and grabbed cleanly by Voiles to retire the side. Well, a quick 1-2-3, top of the first. Lina transferring into the SEC.
Lily Backus, no stranger to this field, no stranger to Georgia Tech, as we just saw. Has had very bright moments this season, and curve, a little bit of a drop you'll see, but the changeup can be thrown in any count.
Vukadinovich on the first pitch, bunts it right back to Backus. Miller batting in the 2-hole, Lesper the on-deck circle as Backus fires in low. 3 balls and a strike to count. Miller getting the start in left field again tonight. And Backus.
If they can string some free passes plus well-executed balls in play, they could be in business.
Here's Lesper, next door in South Carolina. You live in Texas, and you can hit about 3 or 4 different states in the span of 2 hours from where we are right now in downtown Atlanta. In Texas, inside, and Backus walks consecutive hitters.
Coach Morales told us they weren't very far down the road when the news came and that they canceled everything on campus, so they turned around and came home. But she even talked about how important it was for them to be together.
Over to Ellison at second, and Georgia. Here's Sarah Gordon. Lexington, South Carolina. Transfer from Louisville. And Gordon.
Take prospects, either A, you don't play early in your career, you can go find somewhere where you can, or B, just need to find a new home, try to compete at a different level, and Gordon one of those.
Played basketball in high school. Kat, you and I have talked a lot about that in our games we've worked together. Davis sends this into foul territory, and Simon's going to race over to make the grab. It's turned out to be a fairly reasonable night in terms of temperature, humidity. And towards the end of April, you never know what you're going to get here in downtown Atlanta, midtown if you will. DeConnelly at second, and another perfect inning for Sophia Voiles. 3 up, 3 down. Backus back to the drawing board after a couple of free passes and an active home half of the first. And now it's Connolly. Good piece of hitting there, and Connolly takes up and away.
But to have coaches that have been part of this rivalry and pass down what that means.
Runner goes, and the throw down to second is in time. Well, a strike delivered from Miller. Place the softball any better than that, can you?
Yeah, no, that throw took the glove right to the bag, right where the foot was sliding in. Nice throw by Miller behind the plate.
Grace Connolly. Golfs it. Shallow left center, and a running grab by Dallas Goodnight. Right back up the middle, second into the frame. Gailey now standing at first base. 51 starts last season. Catcher to shortstop over at Roswell, and the hot corner there is Williams. And a diving grab over at third base. Kat, your thoughts?
That was a really pretty changeup that fooled Williams with it being on the inner half as opposed to the outer half.
First game for Tech in 9 days after the Florida State series was canceled. Three-hopper over to Simon, gobbles it up, and there's one away. Miller played over at North Gwinnett High School. Rifles this one into center field and above the glove. Vukadinovic could not bring it in. And a double with one away has the Bulldogs in.
This pitch just left over the heart of the plate, and Miller attacks it. Looks like Vukadinovic might have a play on it, but sometimes those line drives are a little bit deceiving. You think they're higher or lower than they are, but that one right past the glove. It's about making Boyles pitch a little bit more. They were getting out so quickly in that second inning, only 7 pitches. The Georgia Tech's making good plays on.
Well, this rivalry, no matter what the sport, always intense, always heated. And Goodnight fouls it back. 1-2, which I enjoy. That's how it should be, right?
It should. You want everybody to be.
Line drive, speared by Connolly to retire the side. And the one-out double stranded at second. So that becomes critical. And then also tonight, you've got a top 25 team in your house. It's a rivalry game, of course. Emma Simon down, 0-2. Tremendous at shortstop so far tonight. Now a ball kind of on that bubble. Simon strikes out. Then every inning, every pitch, every game and its outcome.
Swung through, we see it there on the first pitch here to Willer. It does. It allows you to be more athletic. You just don't train only one way.
Fly ball straightaway center and 1 foot in front of the track. Goodnight able to track it down and racing back. And Lily Backus working around some traffic tonight. She appears to be in control when you look at her demeanor and in the circle. She has not been stressed. And the 2-2 swatted down the left field line, foul territory, running out of real estate and in and out of the glove of Goodwin. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, that was high and tight, almost a protect the inner part there.
See here, she's saying deck goes right up into the face.
Served over to second baseman Tyler Ellison. And that will retire the set. They were in transit down Interstate 75, going to bust down there. Got the word about 2 hours south of Atlanta. It wasn't going to happen. Reaching grab by Leshper comes up empty.
Well, you have to remember these athletes spend almost all of January playing each other, and that's the last thing you want to do in season as well.
Ellison, a leadoff double, and the Bulldogs in business to begin things here in the top of the 4th. What do you think the approach will be here for Tony Baldwin? Got a runner in scoring position. Bulldogs 0 for 2. This pertains to that so far tonight, and squaring to bunt is good.
It was a ball game.
Up the middle into center field for a base hit. The stop sign is put on, and on the throw, it'll be Goodwin that advances to second, and so Georgia now with runners at second and third.
Boyles throwing a changeup there. I think Tony Baldwin taking a chance that off-speed pitch might have been coming and trying to get the bunt down, as normally a changeup, pretty easy pitch.
And the 2-2 from Boyles. Served to deep right field. Off the wall, 1 run is in. 2 runs will score. Ellison and Goodwin make it 2-0 Georgia, and the triple off the bat of Sarah Gordon. Second triple of the season.
Well, another pitch, outer half up in the zone. Gordon doesn't even finish her swing on this one, and that goes all the way to the wall. The speed of Gordon able to get to third.
Digby the batter. Squares to bunt. Here comes the runner from third. The glove toss, not in time. 3-0 Dogs. And now runners at second and third. Some heads-up base running by all parties.
Infield for Georgia Tech, but just the momentum that's riding in their favor. That toss by Tucker too high, and then the bases weren't covered, and so you see the sprint to third. by Simon, and then even Digby being able to.
And here's Williams. Bulldogs with 3 on the board and still no one out.
That was the first real solid contact that Georgia had.
Bunted straight up in the air, and Hunter trying to turn around. Fell down right behind home plate. It would have been a tough play.
Behind her, but you see as she pops up, that foot just slips out from under her.
Back up the middle. Over to first in time for Simon. Here's the throw home. And the double play.
We talked about how unfazed she was with runners getting on in the first 3 innings. But I feel like we might see a pep in her step now that Georgia has 4.
Fly ball to left field, and Connolly flies out to Goodwin. And a 1-2-3 frame, which is sometimes what we do in this business, right? First the pitch from Voiles. She fought that one off and gets it over at a shortstop, Simon. But the rain that you see on your television screen looks.
Hoods and rain gear.
The 0-2 off the glove of Kinsey. And then nobody able to do anything with it. Kinsey Norton able to swap. We also had a curious situation during that last break before we had on Eileen Morales. The scoreboard here had it at 3-0. The score tracker, our computers here in the booth, had the score at 3-0. Grind time part of the season. Good piece of hitting there for Ellison. And now runners at first and third. The throw, airmails third base. Sliding home safely is Dallas Goodnight. And it's 5-0 Georgia.
Just throws to second. She's never thinking about Goodnight going on to third. Simon should have just eaten that because Goodnight was going to be safe at third anyways.
Good one out of Paris, Kentucky, Irvin County High School. Gonna wait on that pitch. Lifts it over to left field. And battling the rain, maybe a little bit of wind. Good play.
So now you're sweating on top of rain, and so forearms wet, drips into your hands sometimes. Even if you wear sleeves, depending on how hard it's raining, then you have.
This one up the middle. Simon has it over to first. Miller did a tremendous job to frame that one up.
As a pitcher, when you can throw low in the zone and you know you're.
Catcher and a shortstop at Roswell High School. Team captain. And the 2-2 is fouled back. That may have been right off the mask for home plate umpire Cam Ellison. We had a situation, it was, I guess, 3 weeks ago now, and in town to play the Crimson Tide, and you see it right off the bottom part of the mask, and Cam's appears to be okay, but.
I want to say ours was more heat related than it was actual injury.
Backus in the zone, her 5th strikeout, and now 4th time we've seen a strikeout in the last 5 Georgia Tech hitters. Happens in the circle and with the defense. Digby has time, and all those boxes so far tonight.
Matchups.
3 balls and no strikes to Digby and a 4-pitch walk. Emily Digby now trots to first base. To third, and back across over to first base in search of the double play. The primetime game at second day. Went into extra innings, and I mean, we got done with it 4 hours later. Aggies ended up winning.
It's okay, Texas won in the long run.
And then Texas got their head coach. But we got. Here's the 2-1. Slow roller over to first and racing down the line in time. That's a bang bang play and a nice job by White.
On the inside corner. Not even really having to change speeds, just using that curveball into this right-handed hitter.
And now the 2-2. Fought off and just fouled.
Overly aggressive. They were chasing balls out of the zone that they had in the first 3 innings. They were trying to make a dent without runners being on base, and now they're starting to be patient again.
Fanciness here. Newborn Field. Bottom of the 6th inning. Back up the middle, and that's going to be a knock. And the throw back to the circle. A run is in. A toss back to second. Everybody's safe.
Just stay down with that pitch, knowing that Backus has that changeup. She likes to throw it a lot with 1 strike. She has. She's really stepped it up, and as we mentioned, once Georgia scored, she stepped it up even more. But early in this game, she was able to record outs when she needed to, with Georgia Tech threatening. But right now, Georgia Tech's going to have
back to the circle, in and out of the glove of Backus, and everybody's safe. It's 5-2. Six strikeouts this evening. Fly ball up in the air. Ballpark will hold it. And Goodwin retires the side. Troy, Alabama for the Sun Belt Championship. This one up the middle. What a great play. And over to first, not in time. It's Simon. And it's up to Norton to try to get Tech's offense back as quickly as possible. Good night flies out. Clean old-fashioned hate. And they did make the right call by starting this contest on time, and that was a bit of a debate. To Simon, it could be 2, and it is.
But that pitch, a pitch that it doesn't require as much snap. So a lot of times that's easier to place in the zone, especially when your hand's wet and it's raining.
Emma Simon has re-entered as the runner over at first. 0-2, and a fly out to right field. And now Georgia Tech down to its final out. Keep this game alive. Porter Stadium. Those Clemson Tigers will be here in Atlanta this weekend. Called strike 3, and the punch out for Backus. The exclamation point, her 8th strikeout of the night, and the Georgia Bulldogs win in Atlanta 5-2.
Well, Georgia Tech put pressure on Lily Backus early, but as the game went on, the senior settled in. Bit of swagger here late in season. A big complete game that Georgia needed from her.
Big performance a year ago against Georgia Tech, and again here.